Wishes and PROTOGEMS, as I like short videos. It is the main source of the economy of all Genshin Impact, and I believe that people still do not fully understand the importance of this fundamental pillar of the game, and by which many of you many times you do legendary missions unintentionally, not wanting only for the PROTOGEMS. You do exploration when many of you do not feel like it, or above all, gives you all the anxiety of the world when it arrives. A banner, a character you like, and you realize that you have several areas of the map unexplored or mechanical that no one won. It does today, as it can be fishing or housing, and suddenly you invest hours and days of your time to get those hit. Price PROTOGEMS so you don't stay off the banner of the character you like best, so today leave a good like a good. Ultima Net subscribe, leave a good comment for the guild. Thanks for enjoying and watching the video on the channel, you know. It doesn't cost you anything, it's free help a lot positions and recommends the video. So help you don't know how much it gives, like subscribe. Well, very well, thank you very much, and we see in the directs in which the description below, because today is a video that I carry. Working a long time, and I really wanted to talk about wishes and PROTOGEMS at Genshin Impact. Leave me the comments. If I tell you of those PROTOGEMS, that is the first thing you think about in relation to the game anxiety and impulsiveness or capable memories. Beautiful legendary doubles the 5 stars of golden color putting in the sky, and everyone shouting as well, 5 is the 5 stars, and say the PROTOGEMS are the main currency of Genshin Impact, as I have commented, and is basically why most players play around that main economic currency that can generate us all the other functions of. Genshin Impact means PROTOGEMS. Even if you don't know, they can be used to max out the Battle Pass PROTOGEMS. Even though many don't know it, and this shouldn't be known, but sometimes it's better to talk about bad things like bodybuilding chemistry. For example, so that it is understood to be reported, and that makes people have more responsibility for it because it will exist, but you can change PROTOGEMS for resin to max out more artifacts, and be able to grow more. Spoiler of RNG does not exist. No good is very bad and will not enhance or make your character build better before, because in the end it is pure wrong and hard, and you will waste PROTOGEMS, that is time and all money. But in main function is the currency of the banners to take out characters, and characters based on the economy of the game are the main product of Genshin Impact. Yes, yours. Shinays, cute ladies and gentlemen, when a new player arrives at Genshin Impact, when you will be new, it happens that this Genshin Impact specifically is the fundamental pillar of the game's gacha, and it was also the turning point in time, in which a gacha game went from being niche to mainstream. Then many of us, if I included myself, knew the concept. I didn't know it was the pity. I didn't know it was because the PROTOGEMS, and because they were so. I didn't understand why everything you did gives you a little bit of PROTOGEMS, like I'm a game worker. And they pay you little by little with every effort. And leave me the comments how many you already came from playing another game and how many you met is the gacha format with Genshin Impact. That, as I say, was the door to turn them gacha mainstream. But starting for this interesting point of the video, let's keep in mind that new players, whenever they enter Genshin, don't just have the surprise of learning something new with the theme of porridge, but you will find a lot of content to learn and being up to date, all based on how to manage these PROTOGEMS, mainly on how to max out and build those correctly. Characters that pull out with PROTOGEMS, but above all starts a function of progressive scaling as players. When we started many of the ancient Monza del Ue, we didn't have practically a source, let's say standardized, of PROTOGEMS in the game, and now the new players have not only the 4, 5 or 6 practically regions that we have now, but sub-regions like Shima and Kanamila and so on, and new players have a gigantic amount, 1 by 4 or by 5 of the PROTOGEMS we had at the beginning of this PROTOGEMS system. And here begins the interesting part of the video. Based on a system of shortages, players who are coming to NATLAN, all those who have been playing more than a year game. Surely many of you who are watching this video, how long you have been playing Genshin? For about a year. They have found that there is practically no need to go between taking out new characters because with all the old you can go through all the content, and as I explained in other videos, we're going to touch it over, but I'm not going to get too much into this. In NATLAN, what they're going to do to counteract this effect is literally going to be bring you new closed equipment just with wit. NATLAN characters, and this will surely happen in the future with new regions, or with Genshin 2, or with Kenria Ori. That comes behind what is said, or called as Genshin Prologue. Nations of Tivat remember that we are still supposedly in the forward, and this is the presentation of the project. Or at least that is commented and said then in the first trailer that came out. Teaching the rest of the nations, and this is going to make it not only generate in the future shortage of PROTOGEMS and characters, but that here the next important point is that surely in a little bit prepared, because triple banners will come and not doubles like now, and apart from this another way to keeping the shortage of PROTOGEMS so that people don't say good. I don't care if it's stressful. I'm here wasting my time or doing things I don't like because of PROTOGEMS. Bringing out new broken characters that returns the clip, i.e. the two solutions are closed teams and power creep to explain it in another video, and surely and the third point to this is going to remain the innovation after now applying NATLAN in CE. Close teams and power creep in very beastly characters like Silonen, and possibly Mavuika, when later this already. Players take it into account and know it, and say, well, we're already going to innovate, and they're going to put in new methods, and this takes us directly to the first method you have studied to see if people get warmer, or have more illusion in the. It has been a disappointment like a house that is 55-45 again. I ask you again what it has seemed to you 55-45 personally. After seeing I don't know more than 5,012, not quantified exactly but being creator and consuming equal content. That you guys haven't seen a fucking 55-45, technically you have a 5% chance that it's gonna happen, or less than 5 even. With what really comes out once every 20 legendary, and personally I have seen quite more than 20 legendary, and not yet. I've seen it. I don't really know how much it was, a little bit like the stammering frost that was a little good. We're gonna paint here. Something nice in NATLAN, we're gonna make the way cry, and we're gonna make people motivate so that we're gonna advance them. By 2 for people to consume those by 2, and then yet we'll see how NATLAN evolves personally. I think NATLAN has been a good region if I thought it was incredible, if I thought it was a pick. But I was very upset about it. I've been very upset by the fact that 55-45, I've practically never seen it. And I think it doesn't exist, and it's been more than anything. Smoke, the stammer has been smoke, and what they told us the buses were going to give between 3 and 4 materials, and we all made ourselves to the idea that if before they gave 2 and 3, unlike the approximately 50-50, then the 3 and 4. And it will give a difference of 50-50, approximately, and yet there are 95% chances that 3 materials and 5% will come out 4. But I say, are you again, after selling us smoke, at least put the divine path in one on the weapons that the players believe? Who are happy with it, weapons are more accessible, and at the same time they earn money because more people see, let's say, profitable or worth it to throw the gun banner. Now remember that many videos of SOS and PROTOGEMS talk about what is the, and I don't want to abuse that speech either. How come we won't turn the subject around much, but always remember and link to the theme of the beginning of the video, that there are many people who end up hating that without impact. And I'm sure that happened to you again. I ask you for an opinion again. In the comments there is an infinite number of people and receives an infinite amount of feedback that generates a thought. Negative and a rejection of the game, when for this type of attitudes I commented at the beginning of the video you end up exploring. Not out of taste, but out of obligation, because a character arrives that you like or is going to leave his banner, and you will no longer take it out, and you end up doing things you don't enjoy, and that if I was a video game bar, I'd start filling a bar with disgust in front. To certain things that you would normally like to do of Genshin, but everything in excess is bad, and in the end to overexplore. And not by motivation will hurt you. Here comes a very important structuring and a point I wanted to leave in the video. Close to the end, as I want to tell you what really is the healthiest structuring of and PROTOGEMS for the community of Genshin, and above all, as video pick basically what is studied and known and great if I am in the comments see of a person's natural way of playing is if you are already at a very much a point of ignorance b of total impulsivity. People usually as soon as they have 160 protogems throwing a wish. And this is the worst thing that can happen. There are many people that, as I say, is always low minimum regardless of whether you spend money, and what it does is do this kind of contents just to get the protogems, to get the character or weapon or constellation you want. And this, as I say, generates counterproductive things. The optimal way is quite the opposite this. If you are a player that you are into that other point, or you've been, or there are times when you are, and you don't control it, and it depends more on the game of Sylvaner itself. You like it more or less, but from time to time you do this thing that I'm mentioning. You're at the point of most players of Genshin, but you're also at the negative point. You're having a bad experience, and if you're falling, let's say, in all the temptations and all the impulses that the game generates, so that you are literally a wallet with legs of the game, because some time for impulsivity will have spent money, unless you say in the comments, Phil, is that I don't have, then I play. But since I've got money, you're still not healthy for yourself, for your way of playing, even like a lot of video games. And social networks generate dopamine inputs. Hormonal imbalance can affect you at the same emotional level and is a unhealthy practice. What you are doing, what is the real way to manage all this with the protogems resources and the desires, as many and many know, and people follow the community, the right way is to plan, but not just plan, but following a method, which method is basically spectacularly simple, but knowing what Genshin's pity is. Knowing the odds and knowing about it, and between it I eat a lot, because it depends on other factors how many protogems and resources per version you can get to acquire a study. Let's say you don't have to excel, you don't have to kill yourself. You don't have to spend more than 10 minutes every 3 weeks coming a banner that when you say this people think today is a game. I'm going to put myself to organize in a game if I do it to distress me. If it was a game that has principle and end and has no risk or problem of generating you to addiction, b other serious problems. C a game that has an incredible continuity that generates a giant atmosphere to end up being literally a wallet with legs. Of the game itself, I would tell you that okay, you're right, is a game, but in this case, no one can counter or counter-argue that everything I just explained is totally true. And as I say, at least, you have to dedicate yourself to enjoying more and playing healthy. 10 minutes every 3 weeks a banner comes to organize, and how to organize to end very easy. Separate between 150 and 160 wishes per character. Make yourself a plan if you have a lot more of these desires than really suits you. Whether you are going to be able to really give a real economic part to the game, or not, separate real expectations, and above all, do a good plan regarding the characters that come out, or those that we don't know what they're going to do at the moment, because that means that it's being impulsive. Don't throw a fine and respect. Don't pull for the 4 stars that are literally videos and much. People are still used as slang or as common jargon in many porridges and in many communities. The issue of fine and respect, or the subject of these types of concepts that will only harm you and apply in 5% of cases very intelligently. And right, if they're going to benefit your account, is to say it's not a radical thing to not do this and point, but everything in life has your fair measure, and all in bad excesses, but all well measured will benefit you, including fine and respect and heating pity and throwing by the 4 stars, but in principle, and above all focused on most people who are seeing this video that plays Genshin, which is a Latino-speaking community that you are free to play this, has very little margin of remedy. If my video was in English, that would mainly see me, because AU and the Asian community that have as language English would say a different speech, and above all would advise, since they do have a greater purchasing power and a little bit bigger room for maneuver with the game, and it's more common for people and creators to take out everything clients and so on, because you can afford to explain this in another way and give more room. But the reality is that you also have to do things about the context that you have, so to do this that I just told you before, and above all to plan it in a real way, not to be impulsive, and above all that the desires do not go to drain every 160 protogem as a wish in bad way. But always have a large amount of wishes, as I have my free-to-play account as it is. Well planned, almost always 95% of the time is with more than 100 wishes, because it planned what I am going to. To get out if I'm lucky, or whatever it is, I adjust the plan into what's still going on, and right now, for if I baby, I have almost 200 wishes, and most likely I will get out if I baby it without losing 50-50. I spend about 150 bad plates, I have 80 or so. I'll save myself for Mavuika, and when Mavuika arrives, I'll take Mavuika out, and if I'm lucky and have a fine, and I get it if I have 190 wishes, I can adjust a realistic and reliable plan, and this is not a motivational discourse of playing more healthy Genshin and so on than much in other videos. What I am counting is the crude reality. Over half of Genshin's players are on that side where they play in a very impulsive way, unconstructive and quite unhealthy, and very few people really do this structure well. The desires to enjoy and make themselves realistic expectations and not a yay-now. And this is the clearest example. I have 90 wishes, and I like this character. I will throw to see if I win the 50-50. How many times this hasn't happened to you, so you don't really play? If you can't secure the character, would even be more healthy to throw away and keep the feeling of having lost the character so that the next time he comes, he will laugh a character. Know that you can lose, not only have real desires to secure it and be able to play in a way consistent with your desires and expectations, but you also understand that it is a game, is not like real life, losing the opportunity of an investment in investment. Several houses and being able to literally solve your life and change you forever for you and your family is just that you're going to lose 4 pixels that when you get up the next day could go to work or in your own business college. It's not going to change your day at all, and you are going to say yes to me because I'm going to be very happy. Yes, but tomorrow it's going to be the same day. Have the character will give you exactly the same pixels. So to finish the video, remember the economy. Genshin's is based on those protogems, and it's based on that you literally pay. If we analyze this, the game has you as workers in exchange for protogems, but dopamine, which is a much more important currency as it is part of your system. Knowing it doesn't matter, and you don't lose or earn anything, and remembering this is the end of the Genshin video is going to end one day, and even though we creators repeat it, people seem still not to understand it. Genshin is not a game in which if someone way you can get back all this stuff you've done and not just cool money anymore. I put $10,000 in a person's time. Free-to-play has invested you say weeks or your life in playing Genshin Impacts, and we count the total time, and those weeks of your life will not recover them in any way when the game is over, or when you go to another game, or when you get bored, or when you have anxiety for half a year and do everything crazy, or someday you put in a couple of $100 stickers. But then life changes the game. Maybe you have less time, not even to play, and you don't even change the game, and you just stop playing because you grow up, because you have family, you have kids. That doesn't hurt some family, and then it's to devote more time to close people and all that you're not going to get back one of them. 6. Aware of that and that everything is ephemeral, you will enjoy much more and make better decisions, so the best you can do with Genshin, as long as final advice is to save by default, as long as you doubt that you don't know what you're going to do. You watch a video, say, "Boah, is that the Genshin is broken, and now I want to get it out," and you're not 1000% sure, and you're not in the position so much to secure it monetarily that it is complicated, and I don't think anyone can really do it. Most of people who watch the video that consumes this kind of content, or you don't have enough wishes to ensure that character, then save by default, give a margin and a chance to that dopamine and those protogems that, as I said, is like a pay by working for free for the video game company, and even not only to rise by default, but to force you to take 1 or 2 days a month of not even making daily or resin to give you a sign that you really do that for fun. and because you feel like it, and not because you are working. I know that many people have not only spent what they did not owe to. Better to stop eating or letting you do something very serious just by spending on Genshin, but I know firsthand that many of you have failed more in your real work that sustains your economy than what you have failed in Genshin by doing daily or risen. So keep that reflection, and I hope that today with this video you have learned a lot more from not only Lee, little more leave a good useful Vinay if you like the video, so long those that you have reached the end. In the end, it wasn't an hour, it was 20 minutes. I would have liked to say more things, but I didn't want to lengthen the story either. I don't want to repeat things. Leave me the comments if you like the longer videos than usual. I know I do when I upload a video. Half an hour, 40 minutes, not only the YouTube algorithm, but you see it and consume it much more so. Come on, try with the channel team to make fewer videos of 10 minutes, and maybe not 2 videos a day, but 1 video a day. But it can be much longer, dealing with topics as interesting as that of this video, and little more. You already know how to leave a good useful Vene subscription. You do not cost anything, help a lot to the channel, power a lot, position to the video, the algorithm, the whole project, and this helps us grow in return. All this multiplied by all the affection that you give us. So thank you to the members. That there are many members on YouTube, and I never thank you because the members, there's never much importance to YouTube, but I think I'll start thanking you. So if you're a member of the channel and you became a member, thank you so much. I never said it, but you also support. Many thanks for supporting around here for YouTube, and little more care a lot, and bye.